I cannot believe you guys have not talked about Clank Catacombs yet.
I mean, come on, guys. Your lists are basically irrelevant because you haven't talked about Clank Catacombs yet.
And at my number 23, I am personally shocked, offended, and appalled that none of you guys have brought up Clank Catacombs.
Hey guys, I'm Tim.
I'm Bob.
Oh, Mike.
And this is Board Game Rundown, and today we are continuing our top 50 games of all time. If you're just starting now, well, thank you. Also, like, subscribe, do all those things. Go
Yeah.
back, watch the other ones.
Yeah.
Hopefully, if you're new to us and maybe you have gotten this far and you haven't subscribed yet, now's a great time. We also do have a Patreon, which if you'd like to support the show financially, thanks.
Thank you.
In advance. But we even appreciate just comments and your interaction. Join us on Discord. Find us on Wednesdays, live streaming. We do a live stream, Whiskey Wednesday. We're going to do our top 50 outside the 50. And when we're not doing that, we usually have guests. We do topics, top fives, board game related, sometimes not board game related.
Always interacting with the chat.
Yeah, it's super fun, very active, and
We got a Facebook group. We do crazy stuff on Instagram. We got tons of ways you can interact with us, and we appreciate it.
Yeah. Or if your name is Chris, get on there and tell us we suck. And
Yeah,
that's
Please
fine.
do.
That's fine,
We
too.
have resident trolls.
We do. Another thing, if you do get on our Whiskey Wednesday, and you're on there and you're commenting and you're interacting, there's a chance that you could be on the show with us almost every year for the past couple of years. We do Friendsgiving before Thanksgiving, and we allow some of our viewers to come on and play games with us and hang out, and that could be you.
Yeah,
So,
super fun
Yeah.
and love it. All right, well, boys, today
Yeah.
we are going to do 30 through 21. Any comments on this? We used Pub Meeple to
we
rate
did
these.
Pub Meeple.
My list is
Meeple.
perfect. I've not
Yep.
forgotten to add any games.
Good. That's good.
Actually, it was clean last time. Last episode. I was
Okay,
clean.
that's good. It won't be this time because I'm going to say one and you're going to be like, oh, I can't believe I forgot that.
Say, well, all right, so over under 2.5.
2.5.
How many did I forget?
You'll be under.
Okay.
Yeah.
1.5.
Not much of this
Might
stuff
be under
is.
still.
Okay. let's
I
go.
don't have much that'll make your list from this.
Fair enough.
No.
All right, let's go. Let's dance.
Let's dance. So my number 30. Number 30 is Blank Slate. I'm a big fan of this game. I actually had it, lost it somehow. I don't know where it went, and I ended up buying it again because it's such a good game, and it didn't cost that much. But it's very simple. You've got a card that either has blank and a word or word and a blank, and everybody has a little dry erase, and they're going to fill in the blank. And you're going to look, and you want to match with exactly one person. As long as you match with exactly one person, you're each going to score 3 points. If you match with more than one person, everybody's going to score 1 point. If you don't match with anybody, 0 points.
No points.
And I think you're playing like 25 or 28 or 30 or
something
something
like
around there. But yeah, first one to get that wins, and it's just fun because you can put whatever you want, and it's just kind of the first thing that comes to mind. Or if you share a mind with somebody, you can write something completely off the wall, and you know that you and the other person are going to be the only ones that write that down. But it's just a fun little filler kind of a game that plays supports 8 people and plays in like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So
This
it's
game's great.
Mm-hmm.
Blank Slate's amazing.
Yep.
Super good. My number 30. Bob and I love difficult co-ops.
We do.
We also love historical games.
We do.
I'm going to talk about Black Orchestra.
I knew that was coming.
Holy smokes. Black Orchestra is really good,
Yep.
really difficult. You are basically playing as Germans,
Generals
German
and
officers,
stuff.
as you
Yeah.
are trying to enact one of the many potential assassination plots to not only get Hitler, but a bunch of his generals out of power, get them off the board.
Yep.
Ultimately, yeah, you want to kill Hitler. But if you could take out, Goebbels or any of those other guys while you're at it, even better.
Yeah.
It actually makes it a little easier.
It does.
And the really cool thing that this game does is there's sort of like an event deck, which is going to move Hitler around,
to
sort
historical,
of Europe
accurately type
to
of
where he was, within kind of,
Close.
within that time, that
Time
time frame. And so you're gathering all this different equipment and plots and things, and you're going to try
trying not to raise your suspicion too much.
Yeah, it's really fun. It's really tense. There's an expansion coming out for this. I'm very excited about. We're going to get an opportunity to look at. I think.
Yeah, hopefully.
I'm really excited. But I love this game. Always have, like from day one, and I will continue to champion this game. It's excellent.
Yes.
My number 30 is Dune Imperium. So, I had this one and Lost Ruins of Arnak kind of neck and neck for the first 2 years that we did this. This is our third year doing this. And now it's been almost 2 years since I've played Dune Imperium. And I think it's because of its length. It really doesn't play very well at 2 at all. I think the AI player is easy to run, but I don't enjoy running AI players, regardless how easy they are to run. And this game needs more players to shine. And when you play at 3 or 4, especially if there's a teach involved, it just runs long. It is regularly going to be a 3-hour game, and so it has to be kind of a main event game. Also, it's got a beat on the leader issue, and that extends the game because as soon as somebody has 9 points, you're doing everything you can to prevent them from getting the game-winning 10th point, and so therefore it's going to extend the game. And so I just haven't been able to play it as often, but I do enjoy it. I like the player interaction. I like that conflict that happens at the end of every game. And now there's expansions that are out that I haven't used yet. Now there's Uprising that I have heard fixes some things. And I always felt like it needs to be easier to win by deck building and recruiting those point cards as opposed to winning conflicts. It's possible to do. It's very hard to pull off, though, and I've only seen it done once. But Dune Imperium is still a very good game that combines deck building and worker placement by one of my favorite designers, Paul Dennen, who also designed all of the Clank games. So it still deserves a spot on this list, but it fell quite a bit this time.
Yeah, I'd say, like, that's why the problem what you're saying when somebody gets a 9 and it's beating on that leader, I try to get the last 2 or 3 points at one time just so to avoid that kind of a situation.
Yeah.
But
You're always kind of working on multiple different points at the same time. So you got to set yourself up for more than one for sure.
I think my issue was, and I haven't played it enough, so I'll put that out there. But it just feels so tight and unforgiving against new players, especially playing against experienced players.
Yeah,
it's really tough.
I would recommend if you're a new player playing, I forget the name of it, but there is one of the asymmetrical leaders that, excuse me, allows you to put your person where there's already somebody.
Oh, okay.
And so that kind of alleviates a little bit of the tightness. And like if somebody beats you to a location, like, oh, I didn't realize I needed to go there.
Right.
You'd still be able to go there.
Fair.
So.
Fair.
All right. So number
29.
So for my number 29, Tim did a lot of splitting a lot of these types of games into multiple options. I just chose my favorite version and put that on there. So this is where it's at. 29, Clank Catacombs, I think is the best version of Clank. Legacy aside, I didn't rank that one. It's fantastic. It gets rid of the problem you have with somebody trying to rush in there and grab the first one and get back out because you're building the map as you go, so they can't pre-plan those movements. It does a lot of really neat things, like with not only just like the different cards that are in there, but also they've got different tiles, and these different tiles, some of them have like ghosts, and then the ghosts are going to go in the bag and they deal damage to everybody. There's these shrines where the more shrines you visit, the more money you're going to get every time you visit a shrine. And the map exploration, the way that, because the map is different every time, it makes it my favorite version of Clank, and so that's why I chose Clank Catacombs to be on the list as opposed to all the other ones.
I'll talk more about it in a little bit.
Okay.
But yeah, it is the best Clank, in my opinion, out of the ones I've played. My number 29 is the best version, in my opinion, of this style of game, and there's a bunch of them out now. Originally was Fantasy Realms and things like that, but Marvel Remix is a badass version of this game. I really enjoy it. It's very fast. It's very straightforward. The art is great, and because you have all of these known characters, I feel like it's more accessible than like Fantasy Realms. Fantasy Realms, the first time I played it, I really thought it was fun, and I kind of was laughing because I've read a lot of fantasy and I played a lot of D&D and stuff, and so it's like ha ha ha, like this is like wonderfully generic, and it's intentionally that. So it's not a bug, it's a feature. But then when Marvel Remix came out and kind of just tweaked it a little bit, and I really just appreciate it because you've got to have a villain out, but then the villain's going to give you negative points. So you can do things to mitigate that. You can change your villain. You can, and you're constantly changing up like your strategy as different cards come out in the tableau or different things happen. You can try to be working to get one thing, and it's like, man, I can't get that going. How do I pivot? How do I get it? How can I change and get over to this? And We've talked about it before in other episodes where sometimes there's a game you don't mind if you've done really badly because it's short usually, and it's like just play again. I tried something. I like sometimes taking like really big swings and just see if I can pull it off. If it blows up in my face, who cares? I spent 15 minutes playing this game, trying to do something really wild with it. But Marvel Remix right now is my favorite version of that Fantasy Realms style.
I enjoy Fantasy Realms. I think it can be very, I don't want to say swingy, but like if somebody gets the right 2 cards, like there's just no catching them, right?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
I did pick up Marvel Remix because you guys have nonstop talked about it. I've yet to play my copy or any copy by that.
You haven't even played it? Oh my gosh, yeah.
But like I said, I enjoy what was going on with Fantasy Realms.
Yeah.
And what you're saying, how thematic and everything it is with the Marvel Remix, with the characters wanting like certain things or villains in their hand. Like it sounded super interesting. I found it for a good price, so I picked it up.
Yeah, and it's tag chasing, right? But it's fine.
Yeah.
It's short and it's quick. And I don't think it has the problem with Fantasy Realms where they've got that combo.
They
of
got like
cards.
the wizard with the one thing, and then
Yeah.
that's like 300 points, and it's like I have 46 or whatever.
That was fun.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't. I don't think I haven't seen anything that does that yet.
Sure.
So, Mike, what do you got?
My number 29 is maybe my all-time favorite gateway game. It's Karuba.
Hey.
An old Rudiger Dorn game that is just anytime I'm going to a meetup or I'm going to game with family or friends that aren't as hardcore as us, I'm bringing Karuba. It's very easy to teach and get to the table. You play this whole game in 20, 25 minutes, and you're basically just putting like adventurers on one side of the board with matching colored pyramids on the other side of the board. You're going to then one person's going to call out a tile. All of the tiles are the same, but you can place it anywhere on the board, and you're building paths to get your adventurers to their matching pyramids. Whoever gets them there first gets the most points, but you can create these little side paths where picking up diamonds and gold for extra points, or if you're not placing the tiles, you discard them, and that's how they move. So just a very, very clever game. You can see all the tiles that can be pulled, but you don't know what order they're going to be pulled. And I need that cross one with the 4
Give me a
paths
four-way,
on
give me
it.
a four-way.
I need a 4-way so bad, and you're just waiting and waiting, and it's just really good. It's always a success every time I bring this to the table. Bob, we still got to play an 8-player version of this. You can combine as many copies of this as you want and play an infinite number of people. You just need one person to go 32, and everybody finds their 32 and places it. It's just really, really fun. I've played this probably like 50 times now.
Great.
It's one of my most played games.
It's a really good game. One of my friends gave it to me as a gift. It was a great gift.
Nice. Cool. Must be a great friend.
Must have been.
It's like that bag is bigger on the inside.
Yeah, well, it is way bigger on the inside. Don't you know, like Mary Poppins.
All right. Number 28. So my number 28 is by a very famous designer who, when I brought this game up, was surprised that this is one of the games I brought up. But Venice.
Nice.
By Braincrack Games and David Turksey. I was talking with him about this. I was talking to him we did an interview with him, and I brought this game up, and he was just very surprised that Venice was one of the games I brought up. But I love this game. It's sort of engine building. You've got these houses that are all around the streets of Venice. You're taking your gondola around to each one. You've got workers on them, and as you pass by them, you can activate the space they're on and gain stuff, or you can stop where they're at to like level them up and move them around the building to a stronger location that it's on there. The original board kind of, I don't want to say sucks, but it sucks because you have to put your workers right on the building, and there's not a lot of spot for the gondolas to be parked at the same location. They listened to the people, and when they did the expansion for the Da Vinci's workshop expansion, they put out a brand new board, and it fixes all the problems. There's a spot around each side of the board now to put those workers so they're not covering all the icons. There's a spot for each gondola at each location so you're not piled up on top of each other. And you're just kind of doing some basic pick up and deliver stuff where you're picking up these cubes, dropping off at different places, and getting all these points and money. And it's just a ton of fun. It's got one of those mechanisms where, because as you pass each other during the night, that's suspicious, and it builds your intrigue. And if you have the most intrigue at the end of the game, it doesn't matter how many points you have, as you cannot win, you're being arrested. And it's just a bunch of fun.
That's fun.
It's very unique. I did enjoy this one. I can't wait to play it again.
I need to play it for the first time.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's always sounded cool though. All right, my number 28. Frankly, I'm shocked and offended that I haven't heard either of you talk about this yet. This is the best version of this game, and I'm talking about Clank Catacombs.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, everything Bob said, right? The way that you're drawing the tiles out and you're going
Building the map.
and exploring and you're building the map is super fun. I enjoy that deck building aspect of like, okay, because you need to like go. You get a lot of extra moves sometimes.
Balance
extra
the movement,
combat.
extra
there's-
combat. You can't just go too much of
Yeah,
one.
it really forces you to kind of like play some 3D chess there. This isn't necessarily the one I would like first show like a new player.
Sure.
But a seasoned gamer, this one you throw on the table, no problem. And it's middleweight. I just think that the OG Clank is very easy to teach and explain.
Sure.
And this one's just like a little bit more. And
Just because they have the exploration factor, and a lot of those different types of tiles that can pop up could
Yes.
throw them for a loop.
yes,
I
and
can
I
see that.
and I think that with a regular Clank, that board all just being out there, and you can explain
Self-explanatory,
everything,
all the things on it.
It's all right there.
Yeah.
But the fun part is, yes, that board is different. Every time I've seen those catacombs, go all around in crazy places.
Yeah.
And it's really cool and really fun. It is it's definitely the meanest version of Clank I've played.
Okay.
Well, I just think you can really kind of hose yourself with.
Oh, sure, yeah,
you know,
and punishing.
Yeah. It's the meanest to you. Like,
Yeah,
it'll
yeah,
slap
yeah.
you around. But yeah, super fun. Really love it. Clank Catacombs.
My number 28, we're going to go from a light game to a very heavy game. It's Marrakesh. So beginning the Stefan Feld rant that I will always go on. He is my favorite designer. I have not played Civolution yet, by the way, but last year's Marrakesh really captured me with how open-ended the strategies are and how you're really just building this engine. And so you're just taking different colored cubes, or keshis as they're called, dropping them in the cube tower, and then you're going to take up to 2 of one color and perform the action based on that color on your player board. But the more keshis you have in that area, the stronger that action gets. So you are building an action efficiency engine. And so as the game goes on, these actions get stronger and stronger, and the game gets more and more satisfying. And there are tons of different tiles that have different special abilities that can cater to certain strategies. I only got to play this once. It still hits my top 30. I just need to play it more, but Stefan Feld's Marrakesh, I think, is brilliant. I love this game.
I did enjoy it, even though I had the problems with the colors. I think if those cubes were bigger and they put icons on them, this game would be in my top 50 because I did like what I was doing. I hated having to keep asking what's
I'm
what.
half tempted to just write numbers on the colors for Bob. Yeah, the issue with this game is you have 12 different colored workers. That is 12 different colors that a colorblind person has to.
Yeah.
And what they did was on the cube tower, they've got the icons on the cube tower, and they've got icons on the colors on your player aid, but still
The cubes
that's
don't have it.
extra.
Yeah.
The cubes
It's a lot more
themselves you don't
mental
have to. You have to put them on those areas, but you have to move them slightly next to the icon. And it's like, okay, are those sitting in the right spot? They tried to make it colorblind friendly, but it probably wasn't enough.
The cubes needed an icon, or like you said, a number. Like, because you have all
Yeah.
those things laid out there with icons on them. Just put a little 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then on the cube, you can write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or whatever, and then that solves it.
If it increases the likelihood, and I know it will, that Bob will play this with me by me putting numbers on my keshis, I might do it because I've been wanting to play this game so bad again. It's very, very good.
Yeah, might be able to just buy some extra cubes and write them on that, so you don't have to change it your actual version.
It wouldn't kill me, I don't think.
It'd be
It only has to be one side.
Yeah, that's true.
You can always flip them over.
That is true.
All right. Number 27. My number 27 is dropped significantly.
Whoa! All right.
I don't know if it's because we just haven't had a chance to play it. I haven't played it since I've gotten the new expansion stuff for it. But Wonderland's War, I really like this game. It can
Yeah,
run a little long,
yeah.
but we just haven't had a chance to play it very often. It's got
Yeah.
amazing art. I love the bag building. I love the different characters and the asymmetrical powers that they have. The whole chip tray like box with all the different
Yeah.
Wonderlandians that you can like recruit and everything. There's just so much good stuff going on in this game. It can run a little long. It's minimum 90 minutes, probably closer to 120 or 150. But still, like, I don't mind long games like that. If you see my top 5, you're gonna know I don't mind long
Yeah,
games like that.
sure.
But just getting it to the table can be so tough, and I think it's probably
Yeah.
why it's fallen as much as it has.
Takes a while to play, it takes a while to set up, and it takes a while to teach. And even though what you're doing isn't that complicated, it's time consuming.
Yeah.
And so it's hard to get to the table when you're doing content on new stuff all the time.
That's
It
true.
was also in my top 10 and fell out, but it did not fall that far.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm with you. It's a great game. It's just hard to get to the table.
Yep.
Right on. Well, I don't like that game, but I would play it again though. I kind of want to play it again at like a
three-player game?
Yeah,
Sure.
and see how it goes. So no, my pick for this one is a game that I do really want to get to the table desperately because I want Mike to be able to play it. He's heard me talk about this game for years now, and that is Court of the Dead: Mourner's Call. In this game, we're basically all in the underworld, and while our celestial overlords are warring with each other, distracted, we are trying to curry favor with death by gaining influence with different factions, which are going to give us sort of like different workers and different kinds of abilities. This is amazing artwork, really cool. Just like the cards are amazing, the board looks amazing, and you're bouncing around. You're running up these 2 different tracks on the side, and you're getting those crystals. Oh, this game's so good. It's so beautiful.
It is
And
beautiful.
I just really, really enjoy the theme and the vibe, and enjoy playing this game quite a bit. I want to play it again soon. I actually own 2 copies of this game because of the box art. I had the opportunity to get another one. Like somebody was selling one in shrink, and it was a different box sleeve than the one I have.
Oh, okay.
So that's how much I like this game. Is
Damn.
I've got one that I've opened and that I got, and then I've got the other one that I bought now.
Nice.
And if I see those other ones with the different box covers, I'll just buy if they're cheap.
Sure.
I'll scoop it up. But it was
It is fantastic art. It was a bunch of fun to play. I like it has the different tracks that you're working
Yes.
back and forth, and just the whole premise too is because it's like the River Styx, right? Or something like that.
yeah, because you're all already dead.
Right.
But there's those different factions on the bottom, and so you're trying to curry influence with those, so then you can
Yeah.
use those guys and
Yeah.
stuff.
That
It's
was
really
fun.
cool.
It's been a long time since we played. We should. Play
Yeah,
again.
we need to get back to the table, but I love it.
It's gorgeous.
It looks intimidating, but it's really not.
It's really not. Yeah. All right, Mike, what's your 27?
All right, my number 27 is a 2024 release. It's Andromeda's Edge. I got this pretty high up. I really like this, but I bought Dwellings. I enjoy Dwellings, and I think Andromeda's Edge improved it in nearly every way. I could give or take the theme, fantasy versus science fiction. I don't really have a versus space. It's one or the other for me, but just the improvements to the gameplay. The recall engine is so much easier to operate this time, whereas in Dwellings it used to be you had to have a worker for every card that you wanted to activate when you did your recall, but now you can spend energy for the recall and you can slot them into the same row and activate and activate them with energy, or the green column at the top, the proton reactor, whatever that one was called. All it takes is one activation and you activate every single card in that row.
Yeah, it's good.
That's really good. I appreciate how much replayability is because there's so many different factions you can play that all have their own unique player powers. And there's just really good player interaction here. You're still going to get the benefit of the area you go to, so the worker placement stays there. But then you're going to battle, and whoever wins moves up a track, and that means that you'll be able to build a development there later, which is a major part of the scoring in this game, just like the Dwellings were in the original game. Now the tracks are more meaningful instead of them just moving up and being a point modifier. Now they have tons of special abilities on them.
Yeah, you get
and
stuff, yeah.
and like all of your different workers have different abilities, but you're going to be dealt random ones that have special powers, and moving up certain tracks allow you to upgrade and choose those special powers. The improvements they added to this game shot it up my list. So I was very happy to put Andromeda's Edge at number 27.
I think that Andromeda's Edge did for tracks what Gaia Project did for the tracks.
Yeah.
on Terra Mystica.
Yeah, it made the tracks meaningful. They're not just for scoring. Now there's all these powerful actions you get out of them. It's like it's almost hard for me to enjoy track games that don't have abilities on them
Yeah.
now, because every game
wanna
that
get
adds
rewarded.
them, you're like, that's
right.
what tracks should be now.
It feels
Yeah.
better getting rewards for climbing up those tracks.
Yeah,
Yes.
and not only does your asymmetrical faction have like an ability on it, you get an asymmetrical ship upgrade that you for each one. So that's cool too.
Yeah, just everything they added,
Yeah.
it was a home run for me.
Does a lot of things right. That's for sure.
All right, number 26. My number 26 is a big hit at this table.
Yeah.
It's such a big hit. In fact, we're in the middle of the game right now. You can't see it because it's digital, but After Us is a fantastic deck builder game. It's got a lot of simultaneous play, which we always enjoy simultaneous play. You've got these cards with these little windows, and some of the windows run off the edge of the card. Well, you line up to another card, and it will complete the window, and you're going to get to activate that to gain the resources or to buy victory points or to gain rage so you can call more cards out of your deck. You're recruiting more apes to your deck, and they go on top, so you're drawing them right away, which is always cool in a deck builder. And there's just so much good stuff about this, like that deck builders I think should do, right? Like the cards going to the top, the ability to call the cards out of there fairly easily. When you're going to recruit things, you can do what I call the monkey see, monkey do. So if anybody sitting next to you is recruiting a certain ape, you can pay resources to copy their effect and get that effect as well. And it just does so many things well. 6 players simultaneous, you're done in less than an hour. And I've taught this to a lot of people, and it's always gone over well.
I will talk about this game on another episode.
Nice.
I love it.
It's the game I played the most on Board Game Arena this year.
Nice.
I think it lends itself perfectly to digital implementations. Could you just click a button and get the resources? The serotonin drip you get while you're doing that, it's amazing. I put this game like in the 30s last year when we first did this, and I will just say I won't be talking about it today.
Okay. All right. Good deal.
We're right.
It's moved up a lot because of all the BGA play.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
seriously.
Moved way
Same.
up.
Same. All right, my number 26. I love this game. I really want to get it to the table more. The problem is it's a bit of an endeavor to get to the table because it's going to be a commitment. But man, it is fulfilling and satisfying and really interesting and unique every time. And that is My Father's Work.
Ooh, okay.
Again, sort of you've got your own tableau, right? You've got your player board where you've got your workers, and you're doing different things. You're moving up those different tracks. You've got sort of like a nebulous goal for everyone to achieve. Now,
Right.
is it good or bad if you achieve that goal? I don't know.
Depends. Yeah.
And you're gonna play through. You've got like the map, the binder book that that opens up for the map, and that's all your worker
placements
placements
out there.
But then depending on what everybody did, once that round is finished.
Like time will pass.
Time will pass, and you're going to move on to the next generation of your family, and the town is going to change based on what happened, for better or for worse.
Right.
Maybe not always as obvious.
Did you make a cure? Or did you not make a
Yeah,
cure?
yeah. Things may not always be as obvious too, right? We're like, oh, this was the right decision.
Right.
And it's really cool, and you're working towards these different experiments that you're trying to do, and I just love the way the different workers interact, like in the board. Like you
Right.
can't spend your
You can't send the creepy caretaker.
Yeah, you can't
out
send
to the
Igor out there
town.
because
Yeah.
he freaks everybody out. So
Yeah.
he's got to. You can send him to your board to do actions, and you can also like put your own,
Yourself
there.
Yeah.
But you can send your spouse out there,
Right.
to town.
And there's literally a creepy meter. So the creepier you are, if you get too creepy, you can't go to town because people don't want to deal with you. You got to go go to the
Yeah.
church and bring your creepy back down
yeah,
a little bit.
yeah. It's so
Yeah.
good,
The
so
components are
thematic.
amazing.
It's just some of the best components in any game.
It's a great game.
ever. This game's super fun. I love it. I want to play this game again so bad. So
I wish it
badly.
didn't take quite as long to play.
Yeah, to me,
Don't feel like it overstays its welcome, but it
No,
is longer than what it should be.
the squeeze is worth the juice, but
That's right.
it's a long squeeze.
It's a long squeeze.
It's a commitment, and I wish there was almost like a lighter version, kind of like a Abomination Heir to Frankenstein, right?
right, like a fast start.
yeah,
type of
because
thing.
I really
Sure.
like Abomination Heir to Frankenstein. I like this one more.
Right.
But yeah, this is a freaking great game, and I
Mm-hmm.
appreciate the variability in it and all the different things you can do. It's just so
yeah.
much fun. But yeah, so My Father's Work, number 26.
Good pick. Good
Yep.
game. All right, more new to you. My number 26 is Skyrise.
Ooh, I want to play this. Watch you guys play this.
I
and
love
so
this
jealous.
game.
Yeah, it's really
It's so unique. You're putting buildings out on the board upside down because that's where the bid number is. And if somebody outbids you, you take your building off the board, and then you continue to build around until everybody passes and there's one highest bidder. They're going to flip their building over and build their building. Then they're going to take a tile from that area, and that could be ways to score it based on the color of the territory you build in. It's just got really interesting set collection elements. It's got great player interaction. You're never not doing anything for longer than like 30 seconds because the bids come around really fast. Like it's really easy to just look at your different buildings, see what you have the tire, and decide to pass or put another building out. And so you're just weaving these paths around the board based on how you build, and you can kind of force people into certain corners, and you get these auto wins. Skyrise is just unique. I don't know of any other game that does exactly what this does. I love games that have bidding and player interaction, and so I knew the first time I played it, the Skyrise was going to rank very favorably in my all-time games.
Nice.
Yeah, I really enjoy Skyrise. I'm not big on bidding games, but this one was a ton of fun. It looks great, and yeah, I did have fun. Now we did play it slightly wrong for a while. We'll have to.
We've never done that before.
I know.
Yeah.
Right? Well, we'll have to try it again with the correct rules.
This is a reprint of an older game by Adam Wise called Metropolis. It was reprinted by Roxley. They crushed
Roxley
the
did,
production
yeah.
on
They do.
this
They,
game.
man,
tend
make,
to, yes.
they make good games.
But yeah, great job on this game. I love this game.
All right.
Right on.
Number 25. Number 25. You know, we love tough co-ops. I also like co-ops with asymmetrical like teams or factions that you have to do. I'm also a huge fan of real time. This game combines all of those things, and XCOM, the board game, is one of my favorite cooperative games to play. It is app-driven, so you do have that going on. But, man, you have one person who's doing the science officer, one person's controlling, like, the military and whatnot. You got the person with the app, and they're kind of just telling everybody what's going on. Aliens appear here. Science officer, gain this. Military person, you have two people invading. And then it's just, the app's just kind of rolling you through what to do. And so you got to have people kind of know what's going on, but... Man, is this game a ton of fun. Like, I want to play it more. It's a Eric Lang game.
Yeah.
People just would not, like, guess that at all, I don't think.
Yeah, that's
and
good.
Definitely, one of his underrated games that he's got. And so I like to get to the table more.
Oh man,
It's a good one.
It's really good, really stressful, and I love it for that. Like
Right.
that's a
It's a good stress.
That's a draw.
Yeah.
My number 25 has already been mentioned before, but I don't care because I love this game, and I know people love the other version better, but this is the one I can get my hands on and get to the table all the time, and that is Unfathomable.
Nice.
Holy crap! This game's super
very
fun. I enjoy the tension. I enjoy the intrigue. I love like Bob talked about the where the ship moves forward and all the deep ones and everything slide
back towards the back end of the boat. Simulate the
to the
boat
back.
moving forward. It's so smart.
Cool. You can do the ritual where you shoot the lightning down, right? But don't be
Yeah.
outside when they do that.
Yeah.
Really fun, really tense. I have had a great time playing this game every time. I absolutely love it.
You mentioned that ritual. The time that we were just most recently playing it, there was a new player, and she was talking about like wanting to do the ritual, and there was a bunch of monsters. She's like, "Well, I can do this thing to complete the ritual, even though it's not ready to go." Is that something? I'm like, "Yes, you should do that." She's like, "Okay, well, I do that. Watch this." I pull all the monsters out. She's like, "Oh my gosh, I worked so good." I was like, "I told you that was a good
Feels
move."
good, right? Yeah, it feels real good.
Yeah.
Really cool. And again, right, the captain is like looking at the cards and going to
Yeah,
choose.
choose which way you go, how far you're moving.
Oh, it's so good, especially
Yeah.
when you're the trader and you're the
Yeah.
captain. Oh, it's so much fun.
Yeah.
And it also
It's got some gills working there.
does that element. It does that thing where you may not start the game as a trader, but then you become one.
You become one.
Super cool, fun plot twist, and plays faster than BSG also.
Yeah.
I think BSG is great. I'm not hating on it, but this is a streamlined version that is affordable.
Yeah.
So
But one of the things that that you don't have to do, but does recommend, which I do enjoy. The normal rule is you hand out the rolls, right? And somebody's going to be a deep one, and so you know they're the trader from the get go. One of the things it recommends is playing one full round without the roll cards, right? So everybody's just trying to work together and help each other out. Then you deal those roll cards out, and then you know if you're actually a human or a deep one.
that's even better.
Yeah, I think that does help to add a little bit more.
And especially with new players too, because then now I don't have the pressure of
them
like
learning a game.
do I
should
start
help?
tanking this now? Like no,
exactly.
no, man.
Yeah, if you're playing with new people, I definitely recommend using that mechanism.
Yeah, I think it'll make them feel more at ease in the game as well. Yep.
Yeah, and then you do the things too where it's like, okay, make everybody read the deep one rules. So that way, you don't have somebody just trying to like have their card on the opposite side. So it's obvious, well, why are you reading those rules, bro? You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. You don't want to take the fun out.
Yep.
All right, Mike.
Great game. Love me some social deduction and semi co-op. Just been a couple years since I played it.
Man, we could fix that.
All right. My number 25. I'm the only one with this on their list, but that's fine. Wingspan. I enjoy Wingspan. I've played it a lot. I have played it a lot on Board Game Arena. And I just enjoy this game. I like the theme. I like the art. I like what I'm doing on my turn. I like how games can be close. I like the replayability because it's got a huge stack of cards. And sure, that means there's luck involved. Don't care. Luck to me means replayability. I don't know what cards I'm going to get dealt. So I enjoy trying to create an engine out of what I've been dealt. So Wingspan is an old favorite of mine. I've played it a lot. That's why it's my 25.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it when it first came out. I played the bejesus out of it. Actually, I played it so much that a friend of mine gave me an insert thing for it and everything. I got a bunch of the fancy bits for it. But yeah, just there's been a lot of other like engine builders and whatnot that have come out.
Yeah, I think I enjoyed it, and then I just kind of got over it pretty quick. But it's not a bad game by any means. I think it's a great design, and I think it did great things for the hobby when it came out. It really brought to light like a lot of important things, and really kickstarted that nature theme that was big for a little while.
Yep.
I haven't played the physical game in a while, but it doesn't matter because I keep playing it on Board Game Arena all the time. It's still one of my most played games on Board Game Arena.
When you're on there.
It's been a little while.
All right. Anyway, number
24.
Number 24, an oldie but a goodie, Orleans.
Ooh.
I love me some Orleans. It's been a while since I played it. I'm not sure where it was at. I'm pretty sure it's made in top 50 every time we've done this. I wasn't sure where it was at before, though. But Orleans, I got the deluxe ones because the wooden bits are nice. It's just great. It's a bag builder, one of the first bag builders I ever played. You have your own like player board where you're pulling your people out of the bag. You're assigned to different locations. Once you're done doing that, you're interacting with this other board that has like trade routes and goods and stuff like that on it. And it's super enjoyable to me. I think it's got a pretty low barrier to entry. Even though there is like quite a bit of moving parts, but I think people just enjoy like, buying the new like little discs, putting them in their bag, and then yeah, cool. I got the wild one, sweet. And then there's all the different buildings that you can get to add to it to give you more spots to put people. There is an expansion that I need to pick up because I heard it's really good, but I've enjoyed this game so much without it that I just haven't picked it up yet, but I will.
This fell out of my top 50 for two reasons, and one of them is I haven't played it in a while. The other reason I'll talk about later. Okay. But my number 24 is an oldie but a goodie. It is Five Tribes, the Djinns of Nakala or whatever. Man, this game's really good. This was the first Mancala game that I ever played, and the way that you can get the different djinns and the set collection, not only with the cards and the fakirs, but also with the little dudes that you're collecting, and how you score them and use them is really cool. You got like the assassins, you can kill other people's meeples, to kind of mess with them. You haven't played Five Tribes? Oh, it's really fun. It's good. Really good. You can get prone to AP with this because there's really tough decisions because basically you've got this. You make up the board, right? You lay out all these tiles, and then you're going to populate it with all the different meeples, and then you're like, okay, well, you pick up, and you've just got to drop a meeple each space you move, and then where you land, you pick up all the meeples of the last one that you would have dropped there, and then that meeple is going to tell you, that color of the meeple is going to tell you what action you take, basically, and then it's going to go to your collection. Again, you can spend them to trigger effects from like the genies that you can get, different things like that. Really fun game, really neat. I really enjoy it quite a bit.
Yeah, it's just AP inducing because not only does the board state change every time
you can't play in your turn.
You pick up 5 meeples and you go, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you're looking at all the different versions. It's hard to avoid. It's a great game.
It is hard to avoid, but I enjoy playing it so much that I forgive it for that.
Oh yeah,
because it's such a cool. Yeah. Thing. Like, I will never argue with people like, oh, well, it's like, I get it.
Probably why Ostia was my first game with the Moncala ability, because I haven't played.
Yeah.
You got to play more Moncala games.
I've only played 2, and they're both on my top 50.
I did back the Wonderlands War Moncala game coming out.
Mad Kala.
Okay.
I will say if I had played Five Tribes more recently, it would make my list, but it's been 10 years since I've played that game.
It hasn't been quite that long, but
a long time.
Five Tribes still just has a special place in my heart.
It should. It's fantastic.
Bruno Cathala?
Yep.
Cool.
All right. My number 24 is one of my favorite deck builders. It's Shards of Infinity.
Oh, it's so good.
I prefer this game at 2 or 3. It runs long at 4. But this is a battle royale. You are building a deck that allows you to knock hit points off of other players. The last player that has hit points, the last player standing, wins. It's very straightforward. It's from the guys that brought you Ascension, so it's got a great core. Mm-hmm. But I just like the different types of decks that you can build. And I like how you're just attacking each other and you're recording your hit points on your player board. Mm-hmm. I also like how it has a mastery win condition where you've got this shard reactor that does not much at lower levels, but if you build your mastery up to level 30 and then draw your shard reactor, it does infinite damage, so it's an auto kill, and that mastery is a viable strategy. Every turn you can move that up once.
It's my favorite way to win.
You're trying to find other cards that allow you to bump that mastery up even more on your turn. It is very fulfilling when you draw the shard reactor and you've got max mastery. But Shards of Infinity is a game that's just timeless for me. It's one of my favorite travel games. Mm-hmm. It's a small box. Mm-hmm. You don't even really need the expansions, but they did just reprint it with all of the expansions. If you have not played it, I highly recommend this game. It's portable, very easy to teach, and it's cheap to pick up.
It's my 50 outside of the 50.
Yeah.
And your face when I killed you with the infinite damage the first time you and I played it against each other is one of my favorite things.
I love this game. I've played it a lot.
Yeah, it's super fun. It's really good. Great pick.
Cool. Number
23.
My number 23 is Loot.
Oh, hey, with the Vickies.
Yes. So Mike talked about this earlier. Loot is a really interesting game where you're placing a Viking down on one map, and that is going to lead you to gaining all types of resources, buildings, things like that. You're going to take all of those bits, and you're going to place them on your own personalized map and trying to fulfill contracts, to give cities the resources they want around them, flipping them over to gain the points. And at the very end, once you've placed out all of your Vikings, you're just going to tally up all your points to see who wins. It's interesting Viking because it gives you the interacting with people on the one board where you're placing your Viking adjacent to people. You're trying to block people out, but you do have different abilities to let you bypass that once per game. But then you also have your own solo game where you're just trying to perfectly lay out your map so that yes, this gold is fulfilling something here, and here, and so it's used for all three of those contracts and trying to just maximize the amount of contracts you're able to complete with the minimal amount of goods necessary to complete them. And it's just a really good game. We had a great experience at Gen Con learning this game from a French gentleman and his Vikings.
He was
salty.
He was so salty that he was losing.
It was great though, but it was a fun time, and it was this is good. I like to buy it. And the guy's like, we don't have any more. I was like,
yeah, I almost feel like he was spiteful at that point, right?
Yeah, no, we don't have any more.
Yeah,
fine.
There's a big stack behind him.
Yeah, well, because Hachette does a really good job at just putting out so many copies per day.
They make sure you've got a chance
to give
every
everybody
day
a chance to get some.
Get there early, but get a chance.
Right, yeah, you get there early, but you literally have a chance every day. It's not like, day one, they're all gone. So if you only have a Saturday badge, you're SOL. So they avoid that. So they do good work there.
Yeah, and they also just put out really good games.
Yeah, don't sleep on them, man.
Oh, crap.
I really enjoy this one, but then after ranking, I just kept finding other games to push in front of it.
Is it because you played it so much on BGA?
I've played it a ton on Board Game Arena.
When you're on it.
First half of the year versus
beating that dead horse.
First half of the year versus second half of the year.
By the way, it's still not my turn.
Still
it should be.
It's not.
Okay, so my number 23 is why Orleans is not on the list. Or it got bumped into my 50 outside of the 50.
Okay.
With the also having not played it recently.
Sure.
But I, on the recommendation of other people, blind bought this game and do not regret it for a second, and that is Resurgence. This game is so good. I was really impressed. I mean, we talk again about engine builders that give you a lot, like these chain reactions,
right?
And everything, and the theme and the vibe of this game is really. It's really cool. It's really neat, especially if you go off of that old school box art right there. I love it. And, I didn't even know what I was doing the first time I played it, but, you're laying out those cards, and then, all of a sudden, all these things start triggering. Trigger. And it's like, oh, this feels so good. This is so much fun. It was really cool. And even on turns where you can't, maximize everything, there's still, a ton of stuff you can do. You have a lot of options. And I really respect and appreciate that in a game. It's just a great game. I don't know who will be getting it or who's printing it now. Who? Do you know? Portal? Okay, because when I got mine, 25th Century had it for a minute, or they were hosting him.
Yeah, they've been selling it in their booth.
But
that's where I got it.
Self-published.
But I would say, support that man because that's a really good game. I have not played Endless Winter. Or I don't know what Stan's other games are, but
there's a bunch.
But Resurgence is incredible. I love it and highly recommend.
Yep, it's a great game.
And it was very cool. That's my 23.
Newest one, Minos, Nova Roma. I got to play both of those. I know. Okay, my number 23. This is my favorite version of this game. I'm actually shocked and appalled that it didn't make either of your lists. And that's Clank Catacombs.
Yeah!
The jump that just won't go away.
Don't let it die.
It's my favorite version. You can't plan ahead. You got to play tactically. You got to wait until you see the tile and then decide what you're going to do.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you go into a tile where there's a monster and you're screwed. But that's just part of the fun.
That's part of the fun.
Clank Catacombs is fantastic. Every version of Clank is excellent. Paul Dennen is an awesome designer. And if you like the other Clanks, check out Catacombs. It's the best one.
Yeah.
Yes.
One of the things we didn't mention that Catacombs has, I don't think any of the other ones have, is the little teleporter, right? So you can go off the edge at an end of a hallway, and there's a little dot, and then anywhere there's another dot, you can bloop, come out of there, and that really helps to kind of get you around the board.
It moves you around the board. Yeah, it's a nice way to mitigate that too. Yep.
It's fantastic.
Right.
Yeah, it's really good.
I think that's our first three-way
Everybody had
ish.
everybody's had
top
that.
10. Yeah. Nice. All right. So number
22.
My number 22 comes to you from friend of the show, Evan Halbert.
Oh,
After the Empire.
Nice.
Fantastic game. Tower defense. You're starting out with this like wooden castle with all of your dudes. You're putting workers out on this communal board where you're trying to gather resources and recruit more people. And then you're flipping over these cards, and these cards are telling you what direction all these enemies are coming from, and you have to defend yourself from all of those. And then you can build towers to help defend. You can change your wooden structures into stone structures, and they all have these little cubes. And as they take damage, the cubes are falling off, but you're sending your workers around the other side of the wall to grab all those resources back so you can repair your walls and stand them back up and stuff. And this game is just so much fun. Like, I love the tower. This is one of the best tower defense games I've ever played. Just the way it does the guys coming from this side, guys coming from this side, or they're coming from this side. And they have, like, oh, this guy's got a ladder, so you're going to get dudes in the middle, so you better have people defend. Or they've got catapults, so they're dealing damage before they get there. They're raiding your farm, so they're getting rid of the food you need to feed your soldiers. Or do you just recruit more soldiers that you have to feed, or do you just buy mercenaries that are just there for a turn and then gone? But, like, hey, at least you don't have to feed them, you know?
Right,
And
right.
there's just so much cool stuff with this game that I really enjoy it.
And the deluxe components are badass.
The deluxe components are so badass. Like, there's been so many times I'm playing this game, people walk by and they're like, I want to play that game. And
Like, yeah, you
it
do.
looks so cool. Like, it can be a little fiddly if you have like a shaky hand, like trying to put your people on top of the wall. But other than that, though,
It's worth it.
It's worth it.
It's worth it. Great pick. I need to play this more.
Yeah.
Because I did include this in the games that I ranked.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I was like, man, I really like that. I just need to play it more. My number 22 is brought to us from our friends from Down Under. And I'm not talking about Australians. I'm talking about the Kiwis. I'm talking about GKR heavy hitters.
Nice.
This has fallen a little bit. It's usually a little bit higher, but I don't care. It's still in my top 50. I freaking love this game. It comes with pre-painted mechs.
Awesome.
This is a Weta Workshop. I don't think they make games anymore, but when they did, they were putting out some really good looking ones. But GKR heavy hitters, you're basically, we are in like a destroyed part of town, and we are these mechs. We're trying to tag these buildings to score the most points. We're basically like a gladiatorial combat, for TV. You might get sponsors, which will come in and drop things down and give you like, one-time use special abilities or items. Your pilots are asymmetrical, do different things. Your deck, you get to build your deck, but not in like an overly convoluted way like some deck construction games are. It's basically like you have one of 3 laser weapons to pick
You're picking
from.
your loadout, basically.
Yeah, you're picking your loadout. So it's like, oh, I'm going to grab this stack, this stack, this stack. Okay, cool. And that deck is also like your life
Your
and how much
damage,
damage you can take. So as you get damaged, those cards, you're losing some of those cards to that damage pile. So you got to try to repair. And then you've got like your little scout mech.
Support drones
Yeah,
and
your
stuff.
support drones
Yeah.
and stuff. Oh, this game's so good. I love it. It's super fun. It's just...
And it's just tactical, too.
It's bonkers. But yeah, I mean, you've got to be smart with like how you move and you aim and you're facing.
Using buildings for cover type of thing.
It's so good. Just destroy the building.
Yeah.
Now, where'd your cover go?
Yeah. There he is.
Super fun. I love this game. It's very goofy and cheeky, but
very good.
oh damn, I love
Yeah,
it.
the little like jokes in the cards are hilarious.
Yeah, it's really fun. It's very fun.
Need to play it.
Yep.
All right, my number 22. This is the highest ranked game from 2024. Endeavor Deep Sea.
Ooh, all right.
Okay.
Like
I'm
Bob
surprised
said,
that this is your highest ranked game for 24.
when you play a game and you immediately want to play it again, that's a great game.
Yeah.
That's what we did the first time we played Endeavor Deep Sea. We played it twice in a row. And there's just tons of replayability in this box. I mean, there's a whole bunch of mats that will change the way that you score, and that is going to make you play the game differently with each one of those. Like, some of them are more focused on like getting the diver points, and then others are more focused on doing the conservation action, and just it caters the game to certain strategies every time you play it. And I like the buildup in this game. Like, you're automatically going to get like a starting specialist to use that gives you an action, a worker placement action, but every round you get to buy another one. And so the ones that you buy determine the actions that you're creating as you go. And then at the end of the round, like, you recall your workers, but you're going up these 4 different tracks that are making you generate more workers or being able to recall more of your workers so you can place more of them out. And just the build up in this game and the replayability and the theme and the art, it just does everything right for me. It doesn't overstay its welcome. You can play a full game in 90 minutes.
Easy.
It's tight. It's turn action efficiency at its highest, this game just works for me really well. I think Burnt Island really killed it with the remake of Endeavor Age of Sail, but Endeavor Deep Sea.
I was gonna say, so earlier I did mention how a lot of the games that are similar, like Clank, I put all together. I say Clank's the best one. I left Endeavor Age of Sail and Deep Sea separate and ranked both of them, and Deep Sea beat out Age of Sail for me. So,
Nice.
Yep.
Really,
cool.
really like this one.
Great
Gotta
game.
check it out if you haven't yet.
Yep. All right. Takes us to the last one of the day, which is going to be number 21. My number 21. This game has been on my list ever since the making of lists. I couldn't tell you where it's been, but it's been around this general area every time. But Taverns of Tiefenthal is a fantastic deck builder. It does, like I said, with After Us, whereas you're buying workers and stuff, they're going on top of your deck, so you're getting them right away. You have this modular board that, as you're playing and making beer and selling beer, you can upgrade it and flip them over to make them stronger to get like either more beer out of it or be able to seat more people. You can buy more tables to just have more tables for people to sit at. There was an expansion that came out that we was it inns and or rooms and something. I can't remember the name of the expansion, but it's really cool. It kind of fits right in, like so it goes right across the top, and now you have rooms for people to stay in and put things. It's really good. It's just I love taverns.
It's Open Doors is what it's called.
Open Doors, thank you. But the biggest downfall that this game has is it comes with wooden dice. Okay,
If that's the worst thing you've got to say about that game.
I cannot stand wooden dice. They're like pine, so it's like when you roll them, you can't even feel or hear you're rolling them. It's just there's just nothing to it. I want some heft. They don't have to be metal, but at least some plastic, so I can like hear them hit the table. I can feel them rolling out of my hand. I hate wood dice, but like I said, that's the worst thing that's got going for it. I think it's doing pretty good.
I freaking love
But
this
dice
game.
drafting, that's always fun. I like the your sister printed me out the little like serving thing, so you put the dice on there with a lid on it.
Yes.
And you pull the lid off like you're serving somebody the dice.
Yes.
That's pretty cool because that way people can't meta the look at what's coming to them
Yeah,
type of
what are you-
thing.
what are you handing me?
Oh, okay,
So I'll know
six
what I
coming.
need to
Okay, I
keep?
don't need to take this 6. I'll take
Yeah.
the 6 coming.
Yeah.
No,
No,
it's a great game though.
I'll talk about it later.
Okay, I figured you would.
Not
so.
today.
Yeah. Oh. I say, well,
there's only one
it'd be
left.
right now. Yeah. I'll talk
Now,
about that right now.
No, but yeah, this is my favorite Wolfgang Warsch game.
Yes, same.
for sure. All right, my number 21 has already been mentioned, but it might be my most played game, one of my most played games of the year. And I came to this game way late, and I'm talking about Cockroach Poker.
Oh, dang, okay.
Oh my God, Cockroach Poker, so good.
Nice.
It was already an amazing game, and then it kind of took on like a legendary status once we started doing game nights with West, and it's like, okay, like one more game, let's play Cockroach Poker. But it's not just one game of Cockroach Poker, it's like 3
Right.
games of Cockroach
Well, yeah.
Poker. Right. Well, yeah. But I love it, and it's so much fun, and it's always a good time, and there's always just like that, like I'm gonna give you this, and like if you get it right, I'm screwed, like I'm losing, and everybody else sitting at the table like, Tim's got 3 cards. He's got to go out. Like, we got to get him out. Like, if we can get Tim out, then we'll win. And I've lost this game every way you can. I've lost it by not having a card to give,
Yep.
and I've lost it by
Having too many cards.
Having too many cards. But yeah, it's so much fun. It's back in print now. DeVere Games, I believe, is publishing it. Strongest of recommends. This was one that I took to a family thing at Easter down in Kentucky just this past year, and people were like buying it before we were done.
Yep. I've had people do that. Like teaching it to people, they're trying to buy it already.
Yeah.
It's one of those like cheap $15 games that I sleeved because
Same.
you play it so much and you're kind of sliding and everything that like sleeve it'll make it last virtually
Yes.
forever. And but yeah, it's fantastic.
Yes, this is an amazing game for me. I'm almost shocked that it was only 21 and not higher as doing the ratings because Cockroach Poker is so much fun. I love it. But I'm looking ahead.
I know.
and I'm
there's
like,
just
I don't
so
know.
many.
I don't know what I'm moving.
keep flipping back to my top 20,
Holy
and
crap!
I'm like,
There's some awesome.
yeah,
We're getting down to it,
There's
boys.
a couple that could have been
We're getting
bumped,
down to
but
it.
I
We're,
was like, no, I'm putting it there.
we're getting down to it.
Yep.
Mike, what do you got for 21? Finish this off.
My number 21, I played this for the first time years ago, but this is the year I found my passion for Crokinole.
Oh yeah.
Number 21, Crokinole. You want to see me at some of my most competitive states? Play me in Crokinole. There's just something. This game brings out an animal in me. Like I've got to win. I have to win. I love this game. So earlier this year, Bob and I made a trip to Toronto. Check your bingo card.
You got it.
And so we went to Elmira, Ontario, and bought a board directly from Tracy Boards, a very high quality Crokinole board, handmade in their factory. And that's what I've been playing on. And I showed it to like my friends that are not hardcore gamers. We played it 10 times that night. Back to back to back. We played it for hours. And I just see this happening a lot from now on. And so I cannot wait to play again. I've just grown a very strong passion for Crokinole, and I will be playing it until the day I die. I love this game.
It's great. It's super fun. I just need to practice, get better at it.
Mike's gonna be on his deathbed. Like,
Yeah, I freaking love Crokinole, man. It might move farther. I don't know. This may not be as high as you'll see it
That's
on my
fine.
list.
I was talking to some people at work about this game, and I told them because it's supposed to be super slow around Christmas time. I said, if it's super slow, how would you feel about if I bring in this game? I explained to them. They're like, that sounds super interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, just
DM included.
throw it. Hey.
I know, right? So
on.
I got the green light.
I'm be like, hey, man, I got a Crokinole board in the car. You want to play?
Yes, we do.
Yeah, it's super good. It's super good and very easy to teach, right?
Yep.
So, well, great.
Yeah.
These lists, holy crap!
Yeah.
I mean, anything in your top 50 with the amount of games that we have played, right? I mean, not toot our own horns.
Sure.
But we've played a ton of games, so it's really hard to get like 50. And I would say that, and I don't know about you guys, but like that top like 30 through 50 can kind of, that seems like the sloshiest,
Sure.
parts of my list personally. But now I'm like looking, because when we go next to like 20 and up, man, these are like all freaking
Creme
Rockstar.
de la creme.
Yeah, these are all just Rockstar games for me. And I know that I'll have one on here that everybody hates, and that's fine.
Yes.
But
I tell you that game right now.
but I know that there's a bunch of other ones that if they haven't been mentioned yet might be mentioned, and I doubt that I'm going to get a lot of pushback on the rest of my list.
There's probably 2 or 3 on here that I could see sliding out, but most of them are like ones that either I haven't played in a long time, I've been really wanting to play because I enjoyed the first or second experience I had with them,
Yeah.
and I want to do it again. But yeah, we'll see.
But man, I just can't wait. These lists are super fun to do,
Yeah.
and man, it's crazy. I'm really excited. Really excited. Thank you guys for watching. Please, if you haven't, like, subscribe, thumb, do those things. Comment. Let us know what games do we talk about that would be in your top 50. What are we missing? Maybe they're coming. Don't forget, we do a live stream on Wednesdays. We're going to do our 50 outside the 50, and we'll talk about them there. We also have guests. We do topics. We play games. You can, if you watch the show, maybe we'll do like a Friendsgiving episode,
Yeah.
and you can come on, play games with us, hang out. It's always a blast. Anything else before we sign off?
I don't think so.
Right on. Well, thank you guys again for watching, and for the Board Game Rundown, I've been Tim.
Bob.
Mike.
We'll see you next time.